Hi guys, and welcome to this video tutorial about Logic Pro X. This one's designed for those of you who are coming to Logic for the first time, don't really know how it works, and to get us up started and making an 8-bar loop. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is to double click on the Logic Pro X icon. If you haven't got that down on the bottom of your screen, you might be able to find it in the Finder and in Applications under Logic Pro X. Give it a double click. Another way to find it is by clicking F4 on your keypad and selecting Logic Pro X from your program list. When you've selected the program, you should have a window that says Choose Project. We're going to click Empty Project today. And then we're going to be giving several options of what template we'd like to use when Logic opens. Whether we want it to include a software instrument, whether we want it to include audio from an audio interface like if we're playing guitar, or Logic's inbuilt drummer. Today we're going to select audio, and we're going to use Apple Loops to create an 8-bar looped phrase. So click audio and create track. Now if you're new to Logic, one of the really helpful tools that it has inbuilt into it is up here on the top left of your screen, this question mark, which is a really handy help menu. It does put kind of yellow sticky notes all over your project, so it can make your window a little bit cluttered, but if there's anything that you don't understand at any point, or if you need a little bit more guidance, selecting this help menu can be a really nice way of finding out what does what. On the left hand side of your screen, you're left with all the instruments that you've selected or that you can use, and you can have a list as long as your computer can handle. And the main part of your screen is taken up by your workspace, which is kind of set out like a timeline going across in bars from 1 to as many as you need across kind of horizontally. This indicates the end of the track, but you can extend that out by dragging, or extend it in by dragging in if you'd like as well. On the top right of your screen, you can zoom vertically to make your screen bigger, or you can zoom horizontally to make the bars extend. We're going to leave it at a default. But often, or something that's often confuses people, is when their channels have gone really big, or their bars are zoomed really far in, and they're not sure what's kind of wrong with the screen. It's often the zoom function that's the issue. Now today, to start with our 8-bar loops, what we're going to be using is something called Apple Loops, and each version of Logic comes with a lot of Apple Loops included in with it. Your loops can be found in your loop browser at the top right of your screen, and that can be accessed with the shortcut O on your keypad. In fact, it's really handy because if you hover over the loop browser, there's a little O in the corner which tells you that that's the shortcut for you to get that up. The notepad, it shows you a more convoluted shortcut, but O is quite nice and succinct. Now today, because we're going to be creating an 8-bar loop, we're going to use just maybe 3 or 4 layers, or at least 3 or 4 layers in this demonstration. I want drums, I want a bass, and I want something that's a little bit more melodic, or perhaps a harmonic line in addition. Now a loop, just to give you a bit of background, what a loop is it's a phrase that will play around continuously, and it could play around forever. To do that on Logic, or to make a phrase play continuously, in fact I'll show you a problem here. We've got a beat. I'm going to go to Instrument, select Drum Kits, and a beat. If you give it a click, you'll hear a preview of that beat. We'll stick with the first one for now. If you want that into your project, you can drag and drop it. But now we've got a problem. If I press the play icon here, the triangle, it'll play. But as soon as it's played this Apple loop, we're going to have a lot of silence. And I wanted this to play continuously. So on your screen, you've got a kind of lighter grey area on your timeline. And if you give that a click, it'll turn gold. And that is a loop. It's also indicated on your transport bar by this icon here. And they call it, actually, Apple will call it cycle. So that will help cycle or loop this particular phrase. I'm still going to have a problem. Have a listen. Because I've still got two bars that are silent. Now on Logic, you can extend the loops out in several kind of ways. The bottom right of each sample, when we've got this icon and extend it out, will give us nothing on this particular phrase because we're at the maximum that loop has been. We can shorten it using this, but we can't extend it out. The top right hand corner of our Apple loop, where it's got a circular icon, that means we can loop it. So we're going to extend this loop out to bar 5. And now this is a 4-bar loop, but we wanted an 8-bar loop. So I'm going to extend the loop, dragging and dropping to bar 9, and again doing the same with my beat. Now it should be continuous. Great. A shortcut, by the way, shortcut that I've just been using is spacebar, and spacebar will either stop or start our music from the playhead within Logic's main window. So that's a really useful tool to have. Now I'm going to get rid of this, and to get rid of that I just highlighted the Apple loop by clicking it, and backspace on my keyboard deleted that loop because I want something of a slightly different feel. Now a couple of other things that you're going to find on Logic is that up the top, this bar here, it's called the transport bar. It gives us a lot of information. It tells us where the playhead is, so it's at bar 5, which you can see here, bar 5, bar 5. It tells us the tempo of the track, which means the volume. It tells us the key of the track and also the time of the track. We're not going to worry about these just now, but we are going to worry about tempo. Now tempo, if we have keep selected, it means that any of these Apple loops are going to automatically warp to the time of our global tempo. So for example, this tempo is set at 120 BPM, which stands for beats per minute. This beat is at 85 BPM. If I import an 85 BPM Apple loop into my Logic window and extend the tempo to 120, because it automatically warped it to the Apple loop's speed, it should sound a lot faster. And we should be able to slow it down by dragging the tempo down. Or speed it up by bringing it back to speed. So for our 8-bar phrase, we need to pick some drums. We can do that in our Apple Loop browser. Remember the shortcut O, selecting Instruments, and then perhaps we're going to go to All Drums. Do I want kits or do I want beats? It's really up to you. For this I'm going to choose, I'm going to keep both highlighted actually so that I've got a maximum amount of loops. You can see I've got a lot of these greyed out, they're downloadable, but I've got plenty for the moment. So let's click on a beat and see if we like it. Like that. If I'm pressing spacebar as well, I can start and stop the Apple Loop from playing. A really handy hint here that I haven't been through is these tick boxes actually under the heart kind of column. Those favourite are our favourite loops, and then up the top we could click the heart and we'll find a list of all of our favourite loops. So one of the first things that you should be doing, or that you can do as part of this task, is listen to a lot of the loops that you like, and if you like them, let's favourite them. So I like both that ambition beat and that ambition piano. Lovely. Now dragging and dropping that into our project screen, we're going to, it says it contains tempo information, which is 80. Do I want that? Let's use it for today, and it's changed our tempo to 80 beats per minute. Remembering to loop that track out, and that's our ambition beat. Now I'm going to drag and drop the piano just underneath the beats here. And I don't want it to start right from the beginning. I'm going to start it from halfway through to create a little bit of variation to my loop. And press spacebar. Let's have a little listen to that. Lovely. Now I would like some bass to go with this as well, and I'm going to take a lot of notice of this key where it says key C sharp for the Ambition electric piano, because I really would like a bass that fits in with my key signature C sharp. By clicking key, I can sort all of these loops by similar key signatures, and I'm going to scroll down until I can come across some that are in C sharp and have a little listen to them. I know that they should go quite well. Oh, a little hint here actually. If the tempo is vastly different from the project tempo, it's probably not going to sound great when it's taken down, especially something like 120 to 80. The difference between tempos is so great that importing this in, it probably isn't going to sound, isn't going to keep the clarity that we'd like. Well, it's always nice to be proved wrong. Quite liked that actually. But did I choose? No, I did choose the quickening bass. Worked quite well. So there's my there's my 8-bar loop so far. We've got a bit of an electric piano in there. We've got a bass. You will have noticed actually what I had to do. One of the things I had to do, and this was with checking my meters, was I had to lower the volume, but just by dragging and dropping the volume of the bass at its regular volume, Let's try that again. You can hear it's kind of overpowering everything. It's much louder than the beat, and it's much, much louder than the piano. We want to be able to hear the piano quite clearly, but we also want to be able to hear the bass. So we're going to turn it down and watch the meters. They should be roughly even. They don't have to be exactly even, but roughly even, so that you can hear every single instrument. And that's really it. That's the end of the first tutorial, and hopefully give yourself a lot more time to listen through to lots of the samples that you like. This one I thought worked particularly well, so I'm going to favourite that again. It goes into my favourites. And have a play. Look at different combinations of instruments. But the important things to take home for today is how to set a loop, how to import an Apple loop into your project, how to take that and delete it as well, which I'm not sure if I've covered. If I haven't, you just click on the sample that you've put in and backspace on your keypad. I quite liked it, so I'm going to press Command Z, which will undo my delete. To layer up your instruments and to also include them on their own separate channel, and that's very important as well. What I often see students doing is layering their instruments, but putting them on the same channel as another instrument, and that's fine. Technically, that's fine. It won't sound too different, although in this particular example it will, because it will stop the drums from playing. But when we come to balancing the levels later, like we did there, we're turning down the bass. It's going to mean that everything on that particular channel strip is going to be turned down. There's workarounds, but I would highly recommend that you give each instrument its own channel strip and its own space. And that's it for today. So any further questions, please let me know, and I'll leave you with this.